Watching the stars and the city lights. Right from the start, said we never grow apart, dear Wichita. You wanted me to know, never ever let you go, dear Wichita. Surrounded by cars, it's such a sight. Watching all the lovers fall into the night. All the moods in a heartbeat. We're going back where it all began. The same ground on the heartbeat. Starts to shake me do all we can. Winter time to spring, I remember everything from Wichita. This town is on its knees, you know God is overseas. I'm telling you. Oh, it's more to...
Hello from Vermont. We are kicking off a New England road trip, and our first stop is the beautiful state of Vermont. We got here last night and checked into a really sweet tiny house Airbnb, and we were amazed. The last 2 hours of our road trip here were just covered in red, orange, yellow leaves all across the highway, all when we entered Vermont. So it truly feels like we're in a fall heaven or Hallmark movie. I'm so excited. We're going to be spending the next 3 days in Vermont, and our first stop today is Stowe, Vermont. So we're doing all of the recommended fall activities that you can do pretty much in Stowe. We're kicking off this morning with the Cold Hollow Mill, which is essentially like an apple cider place. And then we're going to be hitting up a maple syrup farm. So I'm super excited to take you along. This has truly been on Pat and I's bucket list for such a long time, to hit up some of the New England states in the fall season. So I'm so excited and thankful to be here. This is pretty much Pat and I's 4th annual road trip. We do one pretty much every year since we started dating. We go away for about a couple weeks and we pick a different area of the United States that we'd love to explore. Usually they're national park central. This trip is a little different. We are hitting up a national park eventually, but a lot of it is more like exploring and sightseeing in some of the other surrounding states. This vlog is going to be all things Vermont, so I'm going to be taking you around. We're going to be hopping between Airbnbs, hopping between cities. So I'm very excited to kick off this trip here in Stowe. I've heard so many good things about Stowe, so I'm so excited to check it out today. Getting ready to check out of our Airbnb and head into town. This Airbnb was perfect for one night. It was about 25 minutes from Stowe. The property is gorgeous. There are goats, chickens, stunning views, and it was just like it's probably like 700, 800 square feet, but it was perfect for us for one night. But I will go ahead and give you a little tour of this cozy Airbnb before we get on the road again. Airbnb tour. I love how she has this little note about the goats. But it's probably only like 700 to 800 square feet. Has a cute little deck area that overlooks the property. This was honestly one of the most stunning properties. And then cute little kitchenette, which we didn't really have to use because we just got food on the way in. Little bathroom. Then there's this ladder for this loft area, which Pat went up there and said it's kind of just like another bed, maybe for like a kid or something if you had extra people. Okay. Yeah. Then this was definitely our favorite part. The fireplace last night kept us so warm and cozy. We have the towels and bedding because they asked us to do that when we left. And then this was the Murphy bed, so it literally came out. What a good way to save space, though, honestly.
It was so comfortable, too.
Yeah, it really was. So that pulled out. We slept there. But yeah, definitely one of our most favorite, coziest Airbnbs.
Also, This is the name of the cabin is actually the Four Seasons cabin.
Yeah, that's what they named it.
And we will put a link down in the description of the Airbnb in case anybody is interested in coming out here and trying it out.
For sure. It's like one of the cutest spots, especially in the fall. Started our morning at the iconic Cold Hollow Cider Mill. This is such a must stop when you're visiting this area of Vermont. It's actually in the town Waterbury, which is very close to Stowe. It was on the way for us when we were leaving our Airbnb. So we decided to stop here first. We actually had breakfast at the cafe, which was surprisingly wonderful. Took some time exploring the gift shop area before trying their famous apple cider. This is obviously a must when you're visiting. I actually got it hot and Patrick tried it cold and both were delicious. They do have a whole section where you can actually see them making the apple cider, but when we were visiting, we must have just been there a little too early because they were still collecting the apples, so we didn't get to see them actually physically making the cider, but I think that would be really neat too. And then, of course, we had to try their apple cider donuts.
Oh, we were down by the river all through the night, watching the stars and the city light. And now the moon's in a heartbeat. We're going back where it all began. The same ground under our feet. Stars and shake with you.
After our time at the Cold Hollow Cider Mill, we drove into Stowe and took some time walking around downtown. It's such a charming and quaint little town in Vermont. We really enjoyed checking out some shops before heading on to a stop I was most excited for when planning this trip, which was a maple syrup farm. We actually took some time to go to the Nebraska Knoll Sugar House, and this was definitely one of our favorite experiences here. Vermont, of course, is known for their production of maple syrup, so we definitely wanted to learn more about this process. Nebraska Knoll Sugar House actually offers free tours at various times in the autumn season, and it was super informative. We learned so much about just what sugar maple trees are like, how the syrup is collected, the process of making it into the maple syrup you can buy. And it was really impressive because this entire farm is just run by a family and it has for generations. And what was most interesting to me was just learning about the community around Nebraska Knoll Sugar House. The neighbors, friends of the family all gather in March, which is actually when maple syrup can be produced. In the autumn season, this is usually when the sugar maple trees are just collecting the sap. So just so much knowledge to learn, and it was of course wonderful to be able to try the different syrups. We also stocked up on some souvenirs to bring home to our friends and family.
We got us syrup.
After enjoying some wonderful maple syrup, we took some time to drive over to Smuggler's Notch, which is a very scenic area in this part of Vermont. It's a road that you can drive and it's very curvy and windy. There's a lot of pull-off areas. There's also several hikes and trails that you can explore along this part. We didn't really have time to take a hike or a trail, but we just really enjoyed taking some time to drive through this area and pull off when we can. The fall foliage was stunning, and it was just really special to be able to take in more of these vibrant colors. Everything in this area of Stowe is very close and central, which made it very convenient when you're traveling. So after Smuggler's Notch, we stopped by the Stowe Mountain Resort and wanted to take a ride up the Mansfield Gondola. This was another must-do type of activity when we were researching things we wanted to do in Vermont. This was one of the top things that was recommended, and we really enjoyed it. It gives you a completely different viewpoint of the fall foliage, and you get to go up on top of Mount Mansfield and take in the views from the top. There's actually a restaurant and a couple gift stores up there. And when we were visiting, the gift shop was closed and the restaurant had already closed for the day, but it was still nice to just take in some more views before heading back down. To end our day in Stowe, Vermont, we of course had to stop at the Ben & Jerry's factory. I believe this is the original factory. You can actually take a tour here to learn more about the process of how the ice cream is made and the history of Ben & Jerry's. We did not book a tour in advance, so we weren't able to do this, but it was still such an incredible campus to explore. It was massive, and there's actually like graveyard area where they feature retired flavors, and then inside there's gift shops. There's of course lots of flavors you can try, and the best part is there's a lot of flavors that aren't always sold in the stores that you get to try, so we really enjoyed this, and it was the perfect way to end our first day in Vermont. Okay, we've had a very long but fun day exploring Stowe, Vermont. We just made it to our second Airbnb of the trip, and it's incredible. We'll definitely show tomorrow when we have better lighting. This Airbnb is technically in New Hampshire, but it's like right across the border, so we're gonna be closer to Woodstock, Vermont tomorrow, which is what we're exploring mostly. I thought we would end the night with talking about our favorite part of today. So what do you feel like? What's your favorite part?
I would have to say either the gondola, even though it gave me some height, or I'd have to say either the gondola or the maple syrup farm.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think both were really cool. I really liked the maple syrup farm. I thought it was so informative and just really cool to try some and see what that community does in the area. They really cherish that farm, so it was really special. Honestly, everything today was so beautiful. We tried as best as possible to cram as many things into one day, which probably isn't advisable, but we did it.
Yeah. It still is just, it's not enough at all. I mean,
No.
There's a lot to do in Vermont.
Yeah.
There was things we definitely had to cut out today just because we were already running out of time.
Yeah.
But to make the most of the time we did have to spend in Stowe, it was something super special for both of us, for sure.
Yeah, we definitely made the most of today. And we're excited about tomorrow because we'll be in Woodstock, Vermont, which I hear is another quaint hallmark type of town, especially in the fall, so I'm sure it'll be just as beautiful. But we're gonna relax for this tonight, have some pizza. We picked up a pizza before leaving Stowe, and just chill out and get a good night's sleep before another full exploring day tomorrow.
Drink some beer.
And Pat got some beer at the Alchemist Brewery, so he's excited to
Yes.
chill out tonight.
Oh yeah.
But I'll update you in the morning. Good morning. It is the next day, and we are about to head out for our second day in Vermont. We are exploring Woodstock today, like I mentioned last night, and we are so excited. We're about to head out to breakfast at an iconic spot in Woodstock, the Mont Vert Cafe, and I'm hoping it's not going to be too crowded, but we are getting out fairly early, so I'm sure we'll be fine. But really, for the rest of the day in Woodstock, we want to explore the covered bridges and the shops and just really take our time exploring another city in Vermont. Okay, but let me give you a quick little tour of the place now that it's daylight. This is the fit check of today. It's going to be warm as the day goes on, but pretty chilly this morning, so I'm going to grab a jacket in the car. But basically, we came up these stairs last night. We have this cute little kitchenette. Don't mind our stuff everywhere. And then this is like the living space, but I just really like the wood beam, and I also love how much natural light comes through. We didn't notice that last night since we got here in the dark, but it's stunning. Then this is actually another sleep area. or it could just be like a little sitting lounge. You can see the fall colors popping through that window. Then we have like a little dining area, which is covered in all of our stuff. Patrick's in the bathroom, but that's the bathroom. But yeah, this is so cute. There's even like a little workspace over there, which is really cute too. I've never seen that in an Airbnb. Lots of books. The couch is incredibly comfortable and I love the yellows. And then this is the bedroom. So we actually have a door, which is nice. And this bed was extremely comfortable last night. And of course we have more beams in here and just a lot of like open shelves. So very cozy. Our second day in Vermont was welcomed by a rainy and foggy morning as we made our way over to Woodstock. Our Airbnb we were staying at was actually a little bit closer of a drive to Woodstock, so it didn't take long, but we wanted to start our morning with some good fuel, so we stopped at Mon Vert Cafe, which is probably one of the most popular restaurant cafes that you can visit while you're visiting Woodstock, and for good reason, because it was delicious. The coffee was incredible, the food was amazing, and this was the perfect way to kick off our day here. And then we really just took a lot of time exploring the various shops that Woodstock offers. It really is like a Hallmark scene of a movie. It gives you that quaint autumn, just stereotypical Vermont type of town, which we really enjoyed. There's also a lot of covered bridges, which we took plenty of time enjoying as well.
When time's been bad, you put smiles on everyone. I think of you and of all I should have done. You told me the thing would shape or form that you're in. The place you're from, the wealth or the color of your skin. And all you have burns to the sky. It's all too late, and you wonder why we're nearly up. Your every day is a struggle and a strife. But don't you agree with beating hearts we're still.
I would definitely recommend going to Woodstock Scoops to try a maple creamy. I love that they call their custard here creamies, and the maple flavor definitely is a must when you're visiting Vermont. It was so delicious.
Cornelia, you'll be all I'm thinking of. You told me the thing would shape or form that you're in. The place you're from, the wealth or the color of your skin.
There were a few things in Stowe that we didn't get to explore yesterday just because of time. So after we were finished exploring Woodstock for the first half of the morning, we decided to drive over to Stowe once again. And we checked out Stowe Maple Products, which is a little family-run business. They actually produce their own maple syrup, similar to Nebraska Knoll, but this is just like a shop where you can buy souvenirs to take home with you. And then we drove back into the downtown area. We were considering hiking to Sunset Rock. However, it was very rainy this day, and the chapel that you can actually see from the viewpoint was under construction. So we just decided to skip that activity for the day. But we took some time the rest of the day to just continue exploring the shops before heading back to our Airbnb for the night. Okay, we have made it back to our cozy stay for the night. We're cooking up some spaghetti. Just decided to do a cozy dinner in our Airbnb because we have a fully equipped kitchen, so we figured we might as well make use of this space and just cook our own dinner. We had such a great day in Woodstock. It was such a charming town. I really felt like I was in a Hallmark movie or Gilmore Girls or something. It was so sweet. But there wasn't a lot to do there, at least to us. It was fairly small, so we just decided to head back into Stowe for the rest of the afternoon, and I'm so happy we decided to do that because we truly loved Stowe, Vermont. So it was awesome to be able to experience the town again and do some things we weren't able to yesterday. So it was a really good use of our time, but we did get back to our cabin before dark tonight, which was a plus. And we're just gonna have another relaxing, cozy night in the cabin. This is our last night at this Airbnb. Tomorrow we're heading to another Airbnb in a different area of Vermont. But for a large part of tomorrow, we will be fishing because that's something Pat really wanted to try out in Vermont. So we're gonna let him have his fun with that. I'm also gonna go out and try with him. So we'll see how that goes. But tomorrow is our last day in Vermont. So really trying to soak up our last day here. We had a long drive back to our Airbnb tonight from Stowe, Vermont, which is where we ended the evening, and it was pretty much a silent car ride because we were just in awe of the scenery, just taking in these views in Vermont for the last couple times. So it's been such a fun experience here and once in a lifetime type of experience to come here in the fall. So I'm just in fall heaven over here. We're gonna call it a night and I will check back in tomorrow. Our fishing fits. Got hand warmers.
Obviously, I have more of a fit.
Yeah. I am freezing, so I'm layering up with all the right equipment. So we'll see how this goes. We're gonna get out on the water.
To see from the moment we arrived.
It is a bit later. I didn't do the best at updating today, mostly because we didn't do a whole lot. We kind of had a relaxing last day here in Vermont. We went fly fishing in the morning, and then we actually ended up going back into Woodstock to continue exploring that area and did some more shopping, got our last few maple products, and really just had a relaxing afternoon. We ended up coming to our third Airbnb of the night a little early and took some showers, got settled, kind of planned for our next portion of this trip, and just had a cozy dinner here at the Airbnb. We're actually staying in a farmhouse, which is connected to the owner's home, but we have our own private sections. We have like this little upstairs area, and then we also have a downstairs area. So it's been a really cozy place to end our trip. We are leaving bright and early tomorrow to head to New Hampshire, which will be an entirely different vlog. So I'm really sad to say goodbye to Vermont, but also just so thankful to have the memories we made here. I will forever cherish this time in Vermont. It's such an incredible place and such a magical place to visit in the autumn season. So I'm so happy Pat and I got to experience Vermont at this time of year. So I hope you enjoyed watching. It was so fun to take you along our travels in Vermont, and I plan to do the same for the rest of this trip. Thank you for watching the Vermont vlogs, and I will see you in New Hampshire. Bye!
Cornelia, you are one who will survive.